But there's a problem of principles here. You see, Pep was supposed to leave City about a year ago. But there is a big elephant in the room. His wife was living in Barcelona. Yeah. He was living in Manchester. So they had an agreement already when he was supposed to come back.
Yes.
He's so much attached to the club in that he doesn't want to leave it at the lowest place.
At the expense of his marriage on Man City. I don't want them to qualify.
All right, Mallam Goal podcast by Betway. Guys, let's talk about Champions League football. We are 1 month away from finishing the group phase of the competition. And in midweek, for me, my game of the week, FC Barcelona.
Yeah.
God damn! I only had one question watching them, coach. How do they do that against big teams like Real Madrid, Leverkusen, Bayern Munich, and then when they meet Leganes and they can't win. 3-1 down, back to 5-4.
Because against the big teams, those big teams see themselves as big. So they will not sit off them. They want to go toe-to-toe with them. And you and I know that when it comes to Barcelona, look, over the years, technically, they've always had the better players. Yeah. So when there are spaces to operate, they will expose you big time. Against the teams like Leganes and go, they will not have the ball. We will control the game by our defensive shape. They make life difficult, sit very deep, no spaces in behind, and close in the channel. Now, if you go back to the game in midweek, I don't know what Benfica themselves were thinking about. Because to be honest with you, the coach will look back at that game and say, come on, he threw it away. He threw it away. Because they were so good, Benfica, that even the Barcelona coach, at some point in time, he could see that the best they could get out of this was a draw. And so you saw the way they celebrated that Rafinha last goal. And it meant a lot to them because the form of the team has been very undulating and very patchy, especially in the league. But they've done so well in the Champions League. They've laid down their mark, and the football is absolutely great. For me, I don't think they'll win the Champions League. For them to do so, they'll need to improve on their defending. Because you cannot be playing in games where it is this open, and you need to believe that you can outscore the opponents. Over the years, teams that have won the Champions League with ease have been teams that have defended better. That Hansi Flick's way of defending and pressing the ball, I completely disagree because he's not being smart. The high line. It is not all the time that there has to be a high line, especially when the press is being led by somebody who is over 35 years. Who
36.
You mean Robert?
No, yeah, Robert Lewandowski.
36.
He leads the press. He triggers the press. So now the position of Rafinha and Lamine Yamal, truth be told, is not a good presser of the ball. Yeah. And if you look at them tactically, when they go past him in the final attack, when the opponent goes, Lamine Yamal actually doesn't track back. So if the line is that high, and the pressing is not done properly, it's not coordinated, it's not properly anticipated by the rest of the team, the space is very simple. And you go and punished. Yes, they may want to argue that, I think the second goal, was it the second or third, that Szczesny bumping into the Valde thing was clearly lack of communication. But that is what happens when the goalkeeper thinks that by the very high line of the team, he's always playing as the last man. But if Szczesny had read the situation better, he could clearly see that Valde was in absolute control. And therefore, all he needed to do was to stay at post. Valde controls the ball, gives it to him, and then they start their build-up again. But look, the composure of Pedri, of Rodri, what is the number 9 name? That small boy. Gavi. And the form of Rafinha in particular. If anybody would tell me that, yes, Valde.
Alejandro Balde.
They have this unsung midfielder. Small but
Casado.
He's a proper workaholic.
He wasn't the first choice this season.
Yes, the first choice was the guy who got injured.
Yeah.
And he comes
Mark
in.
Bernal.
And he's doing absolutely brilliant. I think one thing they've missed is the boy from Uruguay, who is their captain, Araujo. Now he's back. I think with game time, the more game he plays, once he now restore himself to his usual standard, he is given the task to bring proper stability to the way they defend. If they can fix that, they'll be the team they genuinely have. Because look, they will create. I don't see anything stopping them from creating chances. Like I said,
never stop.
Like I said in the Euros, if they don't win the Champions League, it will be because they fail to make good use of the chances they will create. Because look, from the way they play and the quality they've got, no matter how compact, even look, the La Liga games that we hear they draw, we see them draw, it's because they fail to convert their chances.
At this point, since the 3rd of November, they've started conceding. In fact, even before that, the last 2 games they drop points. There's a certain consistency in the nature of chances they concede and the goals.
Exactly.
How do you deal with those third man runs without significantly altering the shape of the team?
No, you see, he doesn't need to alter the shape. He needs to alter the style a bit. When do we smartly need to push up very high up the pitch? Or when do we say, look, don't push, drop back a bit and see what is happening? Because most of the goals that they've conceded are goals when the third man run, because they are stopping, and the one they think they are setting the offside on, that person stays there, then somebody just rolls on the back and then plays everybody on side, and then they are in 6s and 7s. And that is the coaching. That is at the footstep or the doorstep of Hansi Flick. He needs to sort it out. This is what I would have done. I would have said that, look, we'll stick to the high line, but we need to be smart as to when do we use the high line. I believe you can only use the high line when the pressing is triggered and it is properly coordinated and it is done in a very aggressive
manner. When it's triggered by who though?
But the system is usually the old man who triggers it. And I don't think he does that well. You understand? I don't think he does that well because his pressing is short of the intensity required to get everybody to be in sync. He does it, but it's done in a very slow manner. That is why you realize that anytime he's taken off, and the boy from Man City, the one they bought, Ferran Torres comes in, he does it better. And most often too, when they need to come back into games, that is when they tend to fall on Torres to come and then do it. So look, they're a good team. They're a team very difficult to play against because of the sort of football they are playing. My last point on Man City. Look, I don't want them to qualify.
Pep said that the fans must accept
because they don't deserve to qualify.
I agree with you.
They've been that poor.
How do you take a 2-0 lead?
You see, it's like of late.
Not for the first time, right?
If you can, not for of late.
Second time, not for
the third time.
Unbelievable.
Is of late, if you can run better than them,
That's
you beat them. That's all you need to do to beat them. That's virtually all you need to beat them. When you have the ball, play at a certain space. They cannot catch you. They've got very slow defenders. The only fast defender they used to boast of, Kyle Walker, says he's leaving. His form too has been very bad the entire season. So if you look at the game they played against PSG, you took a 2-0 lead in the early part of the second half. Look at the first goal. Look at where that boy picked up the ball for. Simple pass. And there was nobody catching him. That is why we say a team is most vulnerable just after taking the lead. They have scored 2 quick goals. So one would have thought that if they had their main man, Rodri, we keep referring to him because he would have just said, sideways back. Let's take the steam. Let's take charge of that object and control the intensity of the game. And that will be super. That is what you need. Especially when it is clear that the opponent will be faster than you, faster in every department. Yeah. Okay? He will tell them and he will get them to play in a way that the moment they lose the ball, he's there winning it back. And when he wins and he survey, there's no need to progress it. Come on, let's go back. And then simple. That is what you need. That is what they are missing. So for me, I don't want them to qualify. Defending, they've been very poor. He doesn't even know who his best goalkeeper is. And that is so damning and so serious.
I promise you he knows, though. I'm telling you.
Then why is he doing what he's doing?
So many problems behind the scenes.
Okay, I'm not behind the scenes.
So, see, Kyle Walker's issue is a big deal, sir. It's an absolute...
Why he wants to leave?
It's a mess. It's better he leaves. But footballing-wise, Pep didn't want him to leave. I mean, I don't cover City, but I have friends who cover because
that's right.
Know a lot of the things behind the scenes. Even Edison wanted to leave in the summer. It was a mega deal to leave. He pushed to leave. The club didn't want him to leave. And the way he ended last season, because then they started to rotate him, and he didn't like the way, because there were times remember, he got taken off and he booted some of he was furiously upset. There are a lot of things. Exactly, you know what I say. And even in the midfield, the decision to bring Gundo back was because when Gundo was leaving, they didn't want Gundo to leave. But Gundo and Pep are very close. They lived just opposite each other. And when he went to Barcelona for a season, it didn't work. And some of the people in the dressing room didn't feel like it was a good decision to bring him back the way they brought him back. And then the Erling Haaland issue. You remember, you see the problem with City also that a lot of people don't realize Alvarez. City never replaced. They didn't replace Alvarez.
Yeah. And we've said that several times.
And that was a massive mistake because normally when you have two top strikers, you want to have a number one, but you have to let the number one know that there's
a competition. There's a competition.
And then amongst all this, for me, they're just minor. The big thing is Pep is fighting a battle he's never fought. His personal life is, and as you know, with somebody as principled as he is, the way his personal life has happened will affect him. Listen, everybody says Rodri, and because I get to see Pep coach, I understand what his genius is. His genius is not the players he puts, it's the way he reads the game. I've seen him come to Stamford Bridge.
He's a good tactician.
He comes to Stamford Bridge. I remember a game where Chelsea were just bossing it. And he was calling one of his assistants and was pointing a space and kept saying, so he called Riyad Mahrez and he spoke Mahrez and pointed the same. He put Mahrez in. The same move he was talking about, they crossed the ball and Kepa, he didn't know whether he was going to cross it or cut. He just lifted and Mahrez scores from there. And Pep goes to sit there. It's like just start chatting to the guy. It's simple. Like what?
It's clear.
Where the space is. Because it's all about creating the overload. It's just, if Fent is 1 and we're 2, we create an overload there. It's easy for us. So for me, I get Rodri's key to the way they played. But everywhere he's been, he's had a midfielder who's key. Sergio Busquets was equally key when he had Barcelona. When he went to Bayern, Thiago Alcantara. He creates the monsters you're looking for. He creates them. The problem, I think, is he's fighting. This guy was scratching off his faces and saying, like, there's so much happening. And the it's quite easy.
Joe has been on this subject for so long, but the longest.
He looked at Pep and
he realized
something is wrong with him. It's not coaching. Think about it carefully.
You see, look, for those of us who've seen him very dominant, who's imposed his philosophy wherever he's gone, it's nice to see him this way and see how he actually.
I agree.
For now,
Coach, if it was just City having a bad season, when it started having this bad patch, none of us really knew. Maybe you have known because you know people who are close to the team. But we would have known his personal life issues. None of us would have known that. I personally thought there was something off, right? If everything in the background was fine and City were struggling this way, I would have loved it. For someone, and the reason why I'm so keen on what is happening in his personal life affecting the job he's doing is for someone like me, if things in my personal life is messing up, it will completely affect, like, I'm so much a family guy, like, it will completely affect everything I do. So I get a sense that
it's very private.
It's very private. Yes, and so
you see, I understand, but I think that it's a way of finding an excuse for the man.
No, Coach.
I'm coming. It's a way, in my view, of finding an excuse for this man. This is the man who's been bossing it every now and then.
Yeah.
And if you take your personal life to your job, and you should not be allowed to hide behind that.
No, coach. Okay, so
not necessarily.
This is why I come in.
Sometimes it's also in the make of the person.
I'm coming.
I was having a conversation with Daniel about some of the things we had to deal with growing up. Pep is a control freak. Very organized person who has always been in control of everything at every stage in his life. If for the first time ever,
except when he was doping.
if for the first
interesting.
If for the first,
But the guy, that thing is there.
Agenda.
When he was a player,
He got exonerated in the end later, but he was suspended for that.
but even that was on a technicality because the rules had to change.
Yes.
The rules had to change to exonerate him.
But he was there.
But
But he had
basically,
control over the doping too, bro. But he had control.
but basically, this is the first time he essentially is confronted with a scenario that is out of his hands. Right? He has to wait on other people making decisions. Not just the family thing, even the charges, the goalkeeper issue that you mentioned. It's now having to wait for the player and the club to play out and then pick up the pieces and see what he has to do.
In the midst of the charges, I'm coming. In the midst of the charges, he's renewing his contract.
As for the charges, I don't think so.
So,
coach,
no, wait.
For you. You're doom off, and I am making an excuse. The way I know you love your girls, if one of them is even sick, seriously sick, and they call you right now, you won't affect him. You will leave the pod.
No.
If they call you right now, you will leave.
Say, look at what you're saying. Sick now, I will leave the pod. Agree. But at the end of the day, if I have to come back to the pod and my girls are not well, I resign. I don't come to the pod and I sort out myself at home. You cannot be doing the two things and you are hiding behind the other.
Let me then try to explain this again. So you see, the agreement was for Pep.
Ramamiba, before you continue. This is the first time.
Where his wife?
Oh, don't.
It was after it was resolved.
I'm coming.
Everything started messing up. Even Luis Enrique. When Luis Enrique lost his daughter, he wasn't the same for a very long time. It's still affecting him.
I'm coming. That is not the reason why Ikanji cannot run. That is not the reason why.
I was going to come there.
So you see, there are some problems. Don't bring the man's
Coach.
The man issues are there, but there are other
issues.
Footballing issues. The reason why.
What's the name of the defender?
The reason I can't separate
Ikanji.
Because
Akanji.
the reason I can't separate this is this.
That is not the reason why Pep himself is not being smart enough to know that he needs to get his team to defend better.
Okay,
he needs to be practical,
Coach,
pragmatic.
what I would say would add a bit of clarity to the point you're running.
Okay.
So you landed on a point where you said he should be smart to have resigned, but there's a problem of principles here. Mm-hmm. You see, Pep was supposed to leave City.
Yes.
About a year ago. But there is a big elephant in the room, which he wants to actually claim. That is the 1-1 charges. Yeah. He doesn't want to leave the club where it will go into the trenches. You see, his family or his wife was living in Barcelona. Yeah. He was living in Manchester. And these are really private issues I'm trying to explain to you. So they had an agreement already when he was supposed to come back.
Yes.
But the principles are that he's also grown so much attached to the club in that he doesn't want to leave it at the lowest place.
At the expense of his marriage?
He feels a certain level of risk. It's his job. So the reason why he's
more to his Pep. It's his job.
That is what?
He's made enough money.
It's not
to take care of himself till he dies.
For him, it's not about.
Listen, for him, it's no. At the matter of principle, thank you. Which job should compel you or to supersede the principle you have with your wife?
Wait.
Which job?
So that's a point.
I mean, no job will do that. Which job do that?
You see, the point here is that the City job to him is not just an ordinary. In fact, he said it severally that if they get relegated, he'll be there.
He's been married to his wife for 30 years.
Exactly.
So
30 years. You cannot discount those. What are you talking about? Look, assuming he's coutring, assuming he's been coutring thrice a week. 3 times what?
4 is what?
Just do the mathematics.
12 times 12 is
Thrice a week. There are 52 weeks in a year. Multiply 3 by 2.
That's 21.
Then multiply by what? 30.
Somebody chop them my girlfriends every day.
And what I'm saying is, that's what I'm saying. Don't discount. Don't discount. So the point I'm making is that, yes, there are family issues. But this family, that Roman said, if you have an agreement with your other half, you don't go back.
He would never be half the coach he is.
No.
If he wasn't so much attached to his coaching.
No, but the wife supported him through in thick and thin. You just said that the man agreed together with his wife that a year ago, I'm coming back home.
Yeah.
I'm coming back home.
And then the charges happened, though.
No,
but
mitigating
he
circumstances. Didn't cause those charges.
Yeah, but that's the point.
That is not his job.
You might subscribe to this. Somebody tweeted that he suspects that the wife was the tactical genius.
Of course. Of course. Now that she's pulling herself away from him, tactically he's suffering. Of course. No, but that is a possibility.
Well, this is a man that won the league playing Fabian Delph as a left back.
And I'm saying, for all you know, the wife was there.
You see, the reason why for me, I don't think that Pep overnight became a mid-table. At the moment, he's coaching like a mid-table team coach. At the moment, like, what's the play like? And that is why they are actually like they are considering force of like. I don't think overnight Pep became that. Something must have drained the man for us to see the man we see now. And for me, in human life, there are different personalities, and there are personalities where you can't detach certain things from them. They don't function the same. And there are other robust people who they can live 4 different lives. So many things happening in the background. When they go to the background, they deal with it. And when they come to the pitch, they are different. And then when they go here, they are there are people who are robust like that. I get a sense that Pep is not perhaps wired like that. And so maybe we can't separate what is happening at the background from what is happening on the pitch. Look, the Man City team that he's got now is not a 5th place. Where are they? 6th? It's not a 6th place team in the Premier League.
Just behind Chelsea, they're
5th. They've got enough quality to be producing better results. Yeah, they won. When they won, yeah.
Well, they played
they play both to play, but when they won on Monday, they went past City. So what I'm saying is, the City team we see now, without Rodri, Bernardo Silva is slower, Kevin De Bruyne is slower, Akanji, whatever. Haaland is missing. Savinho is here to settle. Doku is Doku.
So they are humans now.
So what I'm saying is, the team that we see, with all the problems with these individuals, they are still better than what they are producing. The problem is, when City have been good, they have been under a clear instruction and coaching. So if the coach is misfiring, for whatever reason, let's say my reason that what I'm taking is not valid. If the coach is misfiring, it doesn't matter how good the players are, as we know them to be individually, they will misfire. Because coach, the names we've mentioned, Akanji, Diaz, John Stones, Kovacic, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden. Good. Look, these are players. Look, I'm telling you.
Most of those you have mentioned are old waddies.
No, coach. You see,
they're old waddies.
No, wait. So look. The problem is. So the problem is the reason why we say
he's not going anywhere.
The reason he said we live with Carlo and we live with Ferentino. No, the reason why we are saying they are old guys is simply because look, they are underperforming and they are playing in a certain way that exposes that. But this is the team have always been. Last season, they're only a year older. Last season, the same players.
See,
last season,
he needed to refreshen the team.
Wait,
they've played the most game than any other team in Europe at least for the past 3 seasons.
Coach.
So therefore, they've always been at the end. You don't take money and go and buy Silvino, go and bring old Brother Gunda. Kevin De Bruyne, who has always been an integral member. He's 34, 35 years.
Wait, Akanji is not old. Akanji is not old.
He's played a lot of games.
Oh, plenty players have played. They've played more games than the Real Madrid players. Vinicius Junior and Co. They've been playing the same number of games.
But Madrid don't play with the same intensity.
Which City do. Madrid play with a high intensity than City.
City, yeah.
What are you saying?
So, yeah,
Madrid play with a high intensity than City.
Madrid pick and choose their games.
No.
City don't.
No. Madrid play with a higher intensity than City. Average.
Sure?
On the yes. City are boring. City are boring until they play a big game.
No, but I disagree with you.
Intensity.
No.
Listen,
Madrid, City
wait.
is slow pass.
This Madrid, we see
City
them running a lot when it's finished.
No, but coach, what are they saying? I say Kawaka can have more ground than Cavallo.
No, but
Kawaka doesn't even cross the center line.
You think because Man City are on the ball?
But Cicho, that's
do you know what the
intensity?
Look at how long.
Intensity.
How long do they take them to recover?
Even still, Cicho.
It's intensity.
But Real Madrid. Look. Okay, I'm saying that. Okay, I think. Well, you might disagree. I think Real Madrid play with a higher intensity than Man City.
Okay.
Man City are only playing at those intensity when they play in big games.
Not necessarily.
No, I think so.
Not
When you
necessarily.
watch City play in the Premier League, against this teams, it's so boring. Like there's some of the most boring games you watch in the Premier League when City are playing. They don't run. They pass the ball around. What I'm saying is,
City plays in the most competitive league in the world. The speed in that league cannot be equated to no other league.
No.
Real Madrid, if they are not playing against Barcelona, they are sleeping.
When City plays against any team in the Premier League until this season, all of them are seated in their own half. City don't have to run. It's a fact. You're playing the most intensive league in the world, most competitive, blah, blah, blah. But when they play against City calm them out. When City play in the Premier League, then why City they don't play with intensity. When they play in the Premier League, City play in only 1/3 of the game for like 70 minutes of the 90 minutes. Like I'm not going to say it's facts. It's there. You can look out for it. And Rodri himself said it the last time he was with Gary Lineker that in City he virtually plays like the number 10. The centre backs are playing like the number 6 because they are playing
so high up.
Yeah, it's like they keep them there for like 70 minutes out of the 90. Pass the ball around, and they are boring. But that's fine. I'm saying that the original point is City have got Phil Foden. He's not old. He
was the best player in England
last season. They've got Erling Haaland. He's not old. He doesn't have old legs. They've got Doku. He doesn't have old legs. They've brought Savinho. He doesn't have old legs. Right? He doesn't have old legs. They've brought Kovacic. It doesn't matter. We've seen it. We saw Toni Kroos.
Fed doesn't believe in him,
which is fine. So
those people he believes in.
I don't think Bernardo Silva is slower. I think it's not playing with confidence. Bernardo Silva has never been fast. This is how he's been from Titi. This is Bernardo Silva. So people say he's slower. I don't get it.
Depend on pace.
He's never had it. Ike Gundogan. He's never been a quick player.
Been intense. That's his game. His game is intensity.
We've seen
Bernardo short sprints.
That's what he still does.
Yeah, but that doesn't require being fast.
No, that's what he still does. I'm saying that he hasn't been. People say he's slower.
Yeah, but he doesn't execute that the same way he used to in the past.
Because like when I watch it's exactly what I'm saying. Ike Gundogan. What's the difference between what Gundogan did 2 years ago for City and what he's doing now?
Vast difference. Vast difference.
Now I'm saying his style of game, right? Now, the problem I think City have got is the manager who is not able, right, to in the game or even till this point of the season, figure out what next. Because guess what? Pep doesn't have one style.
He doesn't.
That's what I've said.
Pep keeps evolving his style. But unfortunately for him, he hasn't landed one that can work for him. And I think the reason is simply because there is something wrong with him. Pep is not clicking.
That is what I don't want to accept.
Yes.
No, coach.
That's the point.
That is what I don't want to accept.
Going to give him
the benefit of the doubt.
No, I won't give him an excuse on that.
And I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that there is something about him, Pep Guardiola, that is not clicking. It is why City are what. Look, I've seen City play this season, and you have been at a game. Maybe you came to London, you saw them against Arsenal or something. Almost all the players are looking at.
When they came to play us it's the first game of the season.
All the players are looking at. Even that game they won, so maybe they will take. Yeah. But since City played this season, and at times all the players are looking at the bench. I don't know if anybody has played that. Like things happen in the game. Even against PSG yesterday, when it was 2-2, everybody was looking towards the bench. Why?
But they've always looked towards the bench.
Because everything they do is based on
from him.
That is why Pep Guardiola never focused like Ancelotti.
So
Pep
what I'm
Guardiola
saying
will talk throughout the game and micromanage every single thing. He doesn't leave anything to automatic.
We are saying the same thing. But we are saying the same thing in the sense that this is a manager who has never experienced what he's experienced.
And he hasn't experienced divorce before.
Are you listening?
You're right.
He's never experienced
divorce before.
Forget about the divorce.
But I know what he hasn't experienced.
No,
divorce.
that cannot be an excuse. He decided not to go back to his wife. Then you want to create problem on that. He's never been beaten the manner in which he's been beaten. Yeah. So someone will say that, okay, after all, he's not as good as we think he is.
Well, he can't win forever.
I think that is where they are.
No, but you see, there are so many he just said, which I've also said.
Yeah.
He's not been smart in his coaching.
I mean, how do you give away 2 goals in 10 minutes?
That is it. And I just said that despite the confidence, go and watch the game.
But that was even better than Brentford.
Yes.
Go see them against Brentford.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
They would have lost.
By the 80th minute, they were 2-0. How do you?
If you sign up, yes, sign up. 3-3 from 3 goals.
That is why I've said that.
Yesterday, PSG ball.
We discussed the final issue.
Yeah.
You were leading 3-0.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Was there the need to say, I'm going to score more goals? That is score more goals. That is stupidity. He must be told.
Because if any other manager,
if you have any other manager,
would have said it.
Especially when your team
Because
has
he's
been.
not any other manager.
That is why you cannot bail him out with an excuse.
Let's talk about 2 more games in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to give you Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Everybody, the qualification was, well, everybody said it was doubt anyway.
Sure.
I know, right?
Zuzu.
But but they turned up.
Yeah.
Incredible game.
Hold on. Mbappe na pique.
Mbappe apeke.
On this note, who would you have on form? Vinicius or Mbappe? If you had to pick one player
for the left wing.
To be on form.
To be on form.
Throughout going. Mbappe or Vinny?
Must answer the question quick.
No.
Who's that?
You know the answer.
Who's that?
I'll pick Vinny.
Whoa, say, I'll do the pod.
Like, I love that. No, look. On form. Bless you. No, the reason why.
Have a player on form.
No, there is. Look, as for Vinny, you know how much I love him because he's creative and he finishes. Mbappe is not as creative. Mbappe will finish it for you, but Mbappe won't create for you. Yes, really. Mbappe, yes. Mbappe, yes.
It's fine.
Mbappe is not as creative. Mbappe is not as creative as Vinny. Even though Mbappe is more clinical than Vinny. So I don't think you do double the goals. I don't think you do double. It's not like bro.
Last week, listen. Go. Embrace each from Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr.
Yeah.
Real Madrid now have 1 game left, and they could even secure automatic qualification.
Yeah, depending upon our results. Right.
You know, there's still a chance. Listen, this week the biggest story on the timeline was that Carlo Ancelotti was considering leaving. It was all over the place. It was Fabrizio who tweeted it. His response quite cheeky. You will only leave when Perez is leaving. But do you think that Real Madrid have turned it around finally? Because it also looks like even in La Liga, they've clawed their way back. Top now. At some point, they were 8 points behind.
9, actually.
9 points behind Barcelona. They're not top. The Champions League, they're scoring for fun now.
7 point difference. Now top is 7 point difference.
Oh my God. You think that officially he's turned it around? Because everybody suggested that Real Madrid were having
1
problems.
point difference.
Even the results suggested they were having issues.
Die.
At the beginning of the season.
Between Barca and Madrid is what?
How has he done it?
On top. The difference.
Oh, he's not done it yet. They're not out of the...
I don't think so.
You don't think they're out of the woods yet?
No, I would want to see this for a sustained period. How he deals with their right back problem, how he deals with the lack of creativity on that left side and the imbalance it comes with it.
Which one on the left? Ferland Mendy.
Yeah, Ferland Mendy side.
But Vinny is creating from there.
So no, I'm talking about from the left defender.
Okay.
Be it Ferland Mendy or Fran Garcia, whoever he plays there.
No, Real Madrid's last 12 games, they've won 10.
They have looked good. Also, and I
10
think
in the last 12. They lost one, that one to Barcelona.
Yeah. And it's
then
crazy.
One draw in between. They've won 10.
It's crazy to say it, but Madrid's performance have been overshadowed by Atletico's. The crazy run of 14 consecutive wins by Atletico meant that.
Only for Leganes to end
Yeah,
it.
Leganes really.
Griezmann is the man.
But you know the
I
funny
don't even
thing.
know why he keeps taking penalties. We'll get to Griezmann.
You know the funny thing. Last week we were about to discuss Atletico, and Danny said if we discuss it, we'll jinx them.
You see?
That's what. There was a reason. If listeners were wondering why we didn't discuss Atletico and give them their flowers,
You mentioned them, Lisa. You mentioned them.
Danny said, "Oh, jinx them."
But how does the team go on this round? You say they are not after the woods yet.
No. There are specific issues with the team. And I've mentioned those.
Yeah,
but Chief has to be the central midfield problem. especially in the big games. So if you meet teams like Liverpool, and we've seen it, right? And we've seen it. If you meet teams like Liverpool twice against Barcelona, Madrid or Ancelotti can't seem to find what is the right formula for the midfield. And it is quite surprising and disappointing because every one of us here said, if there is one manager who has proven in the last 20 years that this is exactly the sort of problem he thrives on solving, it's Ancelotti.
He will solve it.
So we talked about the early 2000 Milan team, right? When Manuel Costa joined that team and how everyone was waiting to see how himself, Clarence Seedorf, Kaká fit into that team. So we talked about the Chelsea team in 2010, how he was...
Lampard, Ballack, Essien.
Deco. Michael Essien as well, all of them. He did it, took them to the Champions League quarters, and but for that fake decision by the referee against Inter Milan, could have made it to the semis of that 2010 Champions League.
Was it the one they lost to Mourinho?
Exactly.
Yes, I stand for Brett.
And
That cost
because
there's a
caused their
story-
relationship.
Which one was the fake referee ones?
Oh, there was a foul. There was a
No,
foul.
they talked to his Barca. That's what
No,
they beat them.
no, I'm talking about Chelsea Inter.
And what was the problem?
Inter beat
Chelsea brilliantly.
No, but at the Stamford Bridge,
Stamford Bridge.
There was-
what happened?
I don't know.
There was
I
an
remember the incident, but I remember there was an incident.
there was
1-0 win for Inter.
yeah, but
Yeah.
there was
an incident.
there was a foul that should have been given before Inter went on the other end to score.
Oh, subjective. That's
Wait. Even if you ended goalless, that's not Chelsea winning.
No, but that was the first leg.
No, there's someone was the second leg.
Was it?
That leg was happening.
Yeah, that was but again, it was delicately poised, right? But basically, all of those are iterations of
Was Mourinho's Inter Milan?
Mourinho's Inter Milan.
I'll tell you guys a story.
Yeah.
That story, because I cover Chelsea, there was this backstory. That game was a game Roman Abramovich wanted to win so badly. So badly because he had sacked Mourinho and brought Carlo in. So when they lost the game, he came into the dressing room and he was mad at everybody. So Steve Wickens, I think, was the assistant manager that time. So he said to him not to, because Roman was upset. They never saw him that way. So he said to Roman that whatever he's saying at the moment goes in here and comes out because the players have just finished. What he has to do is wait to come to the training ground the next day. So he comes to the training ground the next day and he's addressing it because he was still pained because that time Mourinho was on top of the world and every win was massive for him. He was going to win to the and this, according to sources, and the club says that's what caused Ballack's Chelsea career because then Ballack's contract was ending in that summer. And when Roman was speaking, I think Ballack said something. Yes, and Roman.
Nobody double crosses Roman.
No man.
Who said that?
He never got a contract extension until that day. When he just mentioned that game, because that game, for anybody who knows Chelsea, that game has a lot of significance.
And so for me,
the issue actually is referring to, there was also a red card incident. Drogba was sent off.
For me,
he hasn't seen the incidents. Agenda boys. Agenda boys.
I remember is that game, there was nothing.
No, you know what? The game was, you know why? Because the first leg was 2-1. Chelsea had an
It was delicately poised.
So it wasn't like Chelsea had no chance.
But to be fair, that Inter team was a reborn of Jose's first Chelsea team.
No,
if they took a 1-0 lead on you, forget it.
Eto'o won the winning goal at Stamford. I remember.
So for me, I think that everyone had that sort of faith. But even the simplest of things like reverting Jude Bellingham into a central midfield position to partner either of Camavinga or even Tchouaméni, Ancelotti is not doing it, right? Because I think that it gives the team a bit more balance and allows them to deal with some of the solutions or allows them to find some of the solutions that they can only find on the transfer market. And that takes me to some of the issues that Perez failed to address with the Real Madrid squad.
Okay.
And I said it here at the beginning of the season that all this celebration about, we're a big team, we wouldn't overpay for Lenny Euro, he regrets not joining Real Madrid. Before the first round of the season ends, we will come to the point where it becomes obvious that Madrid have to pay the equivalent of that sum for another centre back who perhaps will cost them a bit more in wages. We are now at that point where they have to desperately hope that Alaba is able to get back into that team, right? doesn't have any disruptions with his fitness and stay fit, that Asensio, and now Ancelotti hasn't got a choice. The kid has to play because, look, this whole experiment with Vasquez at right back, he won't hack it in the big games. We've already seen it and how many times he has failed. And so I feel like Ancelotti was left with a squad that was not sufficient, right, for him to go into the season and then compete. But to his credit, he's been able to deal with the most competitive Atletico side in the first round of any La Liga in the last 15 years and still been able to not only catch up with them, but have usurped them at the summit of La Liga. And that takes some beating, right? Because Atletico have been near perfect in the last 3 months and still Madrid have been able to usurp them at the top of the league. The only thing I'm going to say is this, to conclude. Everyone is talking about how poor Mbappe has been. So far, he has 18 goals. For the next 4 months, if Mbappe scores 3 goals per month, he's going to have 12. That means in what his worst season, presumably, not counting titles, not counting any team achievements, but on an individual level, in what is his worst, he is expected to finish with a minimum of 30 goals alone. And I'm not talking about assists. I'm not talking about goals created. I'm not talking about other goals
with like
involvement.
10 dubious penalties.
I'm not talking about any of those.
Penalties.
Right.
Plenty.
And in stark contrast,
Plenty.
I was looking at Vinicius' numbers before now. His best season, he clocked 25 goals. Look, there is no debate.
You know why I
about
have a problem with just ramming everything down to numbers? In the end, Mbappe's greatness will not be measured by the number of goals he scored, but by the number of great goals he scored. When the game is tough, when things are hard, when it's where's Kylian?
Yeah, but
that is when big players.
And I was going to say, like,
Fortunately for
on what you say,
Fortunately for Mbappe, that is what his career has been built on.
not
Like
so far to Real Madrid. Look, and the thing is, Mbappe might end the season scoring 40
But
goals.
it's only
right?
his first year.
No, agreed. No, so based on what you're saying, like
Yeah.
if he scores 3 goals in every month in the next 4 months, I mean, it's going to crazy numbers. But that's the thing about that is, and this is why lots of players will go to Real Madrid and fail, because they'll look at their own performances, like individual performances. It looks okay, decent and great. But Real Madrid fans don't care
Taken
about
into
the
the
number
Real
of
Madrid
goals.
context.
They don't care about the number of goals he scored. They want you to, at the end of the season, when we get into those big games in the Champions League quarterfinal, semi-final, final, you are winning them. And so Vinicius Junior last season, the first of the season, we knew it. Like anytime he played, it was great. But it was in the second part of the season that
no player
Yeah.
who defines top Champions League like Vinny.
absolutely, and that is why Real Madrid fans
5 years.
In the last 5 years.
in the last 3 years, if you like,
Three.
or like 3, 4, yeah. But that's the point. And so they wouldn't necessarily care if Mbappe has 18 goals now. But they didn't see him score against Barca in the league. They saw him score against Barca in the Super Cup, but they didn't win it. In the Champions League against Liverpool, Mbappe was missing.
Against Milan.
And that is what and that is what the Real Madrid fan. Mbappe will score 30 goals, but when the season ends and they don't win La Liga and they don't win the Champions League, they will tell you that Mbappe is the reason they don't. Like that is Real Madrid. That's the standard. Like
but
any other team, they will say 30 goals.
Just to conclude though,
But Vini, when you get into the, like you said, in the Champions League final against Liverpool, he's there. In the Champions League final against Borussia Dortmund, he's there. In the Super Cups, he's been there. So
But you see, Sicho,
that's what I'm saying. So you can rack in the goal, but in the defining moments, if it's,
Sicho, in the final analysis, I'm relaxed about Mbappe because the greatest Real Madrid player in the modern era was a year.
Remove that money.
Was
Ever. Cristiano.
was the Ballon d'Or winner before he went to Madrid, right? In the year he went there. His first big games in Real Madrid, he scored blanks against Barcelona. In the Champions League, he could not carry the team. In Mbappe's first season,
He was injured.
he's who? No, it was round of 16.
No, he was injured.
but in the fans,
Cristiano. It was,
Pellegrini first season.
but for Mbappe's, there's still time to redeem himself. And already, he's beginning to show signs of life.
You know why
Right?
I'm
Because that performance in the Super Cup, I think he could have scored a hat-trick. if not a brace.
No.
You know, he looks at a
That's
more different
Subaka.
figure. Yeah, against Barcelona.
If he had scored any hat trick, they would have collected 9.
no.
Big year.
And you see, the problem I have with
was a
Mbappe,
nine.
just quickly, is that I think the thing that made Cristiano was Messi. I think Mbappe needs somebody
and vice
to
versa.
and vice versa.
Aren't that true in Barcelona? Aren't that true in Barcelona? And Rafinha.
I actually feel like if Mbappe and Vinicius were on
Different edge, yeah.
Or if Haaland was at Barca.
Even Haaland said, because he just goes to see Ronaldo and Messi.
Ronaldo and Messi, there was a time when if Messi scored hat-trick, when Ronaldo played, Ronaldo would score hat-trick. They had him going, you know what?
Players who could have created that.
Hazard and Salah.
Mbappe and Neymar.
Yeah.
I think
No, I think the age difference would have made it impossible. And that's why Ronaldo and Messi are blessed that they came around the same time. I mean, Neymar is 30 something, Mbappe is 26. Neymar is 33, 32.
No, I'm saying that the age difference between the two of them,
Yeah.
Mbappe and Neymar, is very similar to the age difference between Ronaldo and Messi.
No, Ronaldo and Messi is just 2 years. Mbappe is
Just
like
2
5
years.
years.
In which 5 years?
Neymar is 30 years. Mbappe is 26 or 26 or something. So there is that. So Mbappe is 26. Neymar is 32 years.
You said you had an issue.
Let's take it back to yesterday. Griezmann, no. No, it's a serious thing.
I they come.
But I'm going to last week like Anis.
No, it's not. You relax. I know what to do.
Yeah,
We went down and we chopped red card. We equalized.
No, wait. You went there and go. We chop red card.
No, we chopped red card.
Red card.
Went down and go. Equalized with the
When you
red
make them
card.
chop red card.
When we made them chop red card, we scored Diego Simeone is a coach. But if he was a Leganes game, we didn't deserve to lose that.
Hey, why are you using we all?
You know I'm
This guy!
This guy. Oh my God.
Charlie, last week. See, last week, yo,
He was doing this for Arsenal.
last week he hijacked the show. He said we can't discuss Atletico and jinx them.
Why you want to them? This guy! When Atletico be weak.
See, why you be so? Why you doing this?
Charlie, this guy, he went to Man U. I'm going here right away.
He went to
Go
City.
Arsenal, I'm going here. He went to City.
He went to City
This guy
before
has been
Arsenal.
everywhere.
Glory Hunter.
He even did the whole unveiling to switch from Man U to Man City.
Robo!
Ashawo supporter.
October 1.
It's a podcast, so I can email you. I can move ahead. See, the Arsenal that I was backing, I have said I feel Arsenal winning. It doesn't mean I'm an Arsenal fan.
No, we didn't say Arsenal.
I'm
You're
not.
back in. So you're an Atleti fan.
Oh, but let's you know.
You know what?
Oh, me and Diego Simeone.
Yeah, he likes Diego.
I
He's
like
always
Diego.
like
You and Diego, if you say Simeone, it's not you and Diego.
Yeah, like
Be your guy, be your guy.
Since. Like, you know this thing. Don't be doing that.
Yeah, he likes
Don't be
Diego.
So,
Like,
Leganes, no?
Leganes, no, I don't understand. You see, it was one of those games where, like, at the end of the first half, I knew there was an issue. If you remember, you tweeted at me, asked me if I was watching. It was so bad I couldn't watch any other game.
Yeah.
Because I was on tenterhooks, like nothing was working. We are creating the chances, yet they just can't put the ball in the back of the net. But Griezmann, he has a serious problem. Do you know Griezmann has missed they said 12 or say 15 or 22 penalties. I don't get you. How can you kick this many penalties and miss? Yet you are always the designated penalty taker. Like, you see that thing they said Barroso was doing at training. At training, he's scoring free kicks. I don't understand. No, because look, the number of high-profile penalties Griezmann has missed that I can remember off head. Like in my head, Griezmann is not a good penalty.
So who should take them at Atletico?
It's not Alvarez. Alvarez doesn't miss. At least
If Rodrigo de Paul is playing, Rodrigo de
you
Paul.
take it.
You know that
So
certain
why?
decisions go beyond just footballing decisions.
Yeah.
This
You know
thing,
this.
our winning streak was on the line. We're losing against the Leganes had lost their last 3 home games. Then you play Leganes and you allow them to keep a clean sheet. And Leganes were wasting time. Look, anytime Atletico pick the ball, 1-2 pass chance, 1-2 pass. As I say, if you watch Atletico, they are not boring.
You know one of the things why you like Diego is just not because he's a very good manager on the pitch. He's a very good manager of the dressing room.
Yeah, man management.
Look,
Do you understand?
he reminds me of the Mourinho I used to like. Like once you enter that Atletico dressing room, you are going to love him, and you are going to want to do anything for him. Like that's how the typical Atletico Madrid player is. That's why I love the club. And congrats to Atletico. Look, we're facing
Collect your flowers.
Bayer Leverkusen.
Collect your flowers.
First half red card. And the way Atletico were able to keep Bayer Leverkusen at bay and then concede a goal. And even when after they conceded a goal, Atletico was still in control.
Right.
They were still creating the dangerous opportunities and then tap equalizer. Straight after the equalizer, then the dark ass Hinkampi was the one of the guy.
Hinkampi.
We do our top second yellow.
But
Top second
Simeone in Sunday in father they be the same people.
I swear.
The guy drew the yellow card from the card. Like he squeezed the yellow card from me. He's like,
hey, it's on the yellow. See.
But that was a great game. Alvarez is having a dream season.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Dream season.
Big this season. My only issue is that the same mistake they've been making season.
there are two big things they can win.
The league or the Champions.
They can win. There are two big things they can win. Which one do you think they've got a better chance of doing?
The Champions League.
Champions League?
Yeah.
Champions League.
You know why? If you look at the teams from the 9th to the 24th. From the 9th to the 24th.
What's in the playoffs?
We are in the second half of the season. We've seen Bayern Munich in the Champions League this season. We may have thought that maybe the Christmas or the winter break would have changed things, but that performance against final suggests different. It's like company just can't crack it.
No, I think that performance was a fluke. I don't think I'll read so much. I'll read too much into it.
They've been poor in the first half.
Yeah, but they're still top the league. They score goals in the Champions League. Yeah.
In the league, he's doing his business, but in the Champions League, he's struggling. I'm saying that thing where the second half of the season brings some renewed energy. With Real Madrid 5-1 quick. Right now, everybody has Saka because we know they are back. Now you need to be afraid of them. It didn't happen with Bayern.
Bayern, yeah. City no. I mean City. I meant City.
But not to interject, but just to tell you that teams like Bayern and Barcelona, they don't win the Champions League if they are not bossing their domestic leagues. Do you understand? So if every season you see Barcelona struggling in the domestic league, they are not like Madrid who can be piss poor in domestically, but Champions League they are untouchable.
Another club like that is Chelsea.
Exactly. Where Chelsea can be piss poor domestically, but Barca need to be dominating in the league. I think Bayern is also similar. If Bayern are struggling in the Bundesliga, they can't do it in Europe.
And you see, what I'm looking at, the teams from the 9th to the 24th, even the top teams who are in there are struggling. So no matter what happens in that playoff, I'm looking at the teams in the top 8. Look, this format has four things. If you look at the league table critically, I say no one. Because teams like Barcelona is in there, Arsenal is in there. The fact that Arsenal are going to be automatically in the quarterfinal in itself is a problem. Like, no disrespect to Arsenal. But
you're saying that any team they draw against in that night before they win?
No. Any team that is drawn against Arsenal will have the ability to beat Arsenal. It's in Champions
From that night to
24. Yes, in Champions League.
Yeah, and at the moment they've got Milan in there, you've got Arsenal, you've got Atalanta, you've got Leverkusen. Unless the final day something changes, but you've got teams that are beatable.
Aside Liverpool and Real Madrid, this season's Champions League is looking very winnable.
Yeah.
And when you look at Atletico Madrid and how difficult they are to bring down, you see, the funny thing is, all Diego Simeone has to do is to reverse to time. It's as simple as that. Yes, they are open this time around, they are scoring goals. But if you look at the winning run, this time they were scoring plenty and not conceding.
No, they were not
conceding. So he's been able to
they were not
find
leaking
that
the balance.
Like this time around, it's looking sweet. They are scoring 6 clean sheets, 3 clean sheets, 4 clean sheets. And see, this Atletico forward line is the clinicality of the forward line is reminding me of Faka and
Diego Costa.
Yeah, Diego Costa's time. Alvarez.
So I remember Faka's chant at Man United. Lo. Radamel Fakao. Lo. Salawaza.
So to be frank, if Atletico can keep this, the only things I'm saying they need to pick one. Because going toe to toe with Real Madrid, look, you can't win 15 matches in a row.
So stressing.
You are still second. Like Real Madrid is Real Madrid. So for me, they should choose one because I don't think the squad is big enough to compete with Real Madrid at all fronts. So you compete. As for the top 4 is guaranteed. You compete. And if it reaches the point where they need to pick a competition, I'll say you should be the Champions League. because this season it's looking.
Let me say
okay.
a sub story about Real Madrid. One of the greatest things about Madrid is just the way they've been able to keep the standards. Michael Owen tells a really interesting story that when he left from Liverpool to go, I think he went there and met David Beckham. And you know, with England, you get your pay every week. You have your phone, and then the money drops. He gets offered Madrid. Charlie, he goes there, lives in a plush environment, and Charlie, after 1 month, the pay no come.
Yeah.
Charlie, they check him food. But what they offered? They keep quiet again. 2 months, nothing comes. So he goes see Beckham. This is what's up.
So, you get
your Beckham watch out and like we say,
This is where Madrid
relax. Yeah, standard day. They pay twice a
Twice
year.
a year,
They how much if you did on 10 million? They
5 million.
5 million around.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
boy
I
money.
have
Yeah.
It's another do that thing twice a year.
I mean, we're-
As if you blow your money finish.
Hey, blow your money.
Why Chomini they struggle? Why Chomini they struggle?
The money finish.
I don't say how we get.
Aurelian, be your guy.
My guy.
Fucking guy.
I don't want to talk.
but we're rushing that.
He said,
No.
he said, then when the money drop, you don't see some people.
Alright, guys.
Imagine like on a like you're Ronaldo, you're like 18 million a year.
9 million.
Quick.
Nice.
And that will come with your bonuses you've accrued. So Ronaldo in goals in the score, all the bonus, I swear.
I have to tell this to Chomini. Because Chomini is the issue with Chomini. Already. I mean, if I thought it be Ori and the corner. I'm official. You see, Ori here. You see the other guys like Mbappe, the Lingus, they don't get side gigs. You understand? So everybody know pay. And that's already you don't get gigs. You understand? When you know, the Christmas they go party plus Mbappe. Maybe you know they come out.
Your money day.
So come on.
They follow Vini. Yeah. So if Vini inside the kind of sort out, already you know, you don't get it. So right now, no. Why they struggle? See, they say they can't training late.
You didn't narrate the
You don't get 4 months. They struggle. Like make Barca. When they say he didn't wait international break to come on.
That'd be like match.
When they flop to even fuller.
You know who go. Why shit you be
So that's on the Champions League.